After a 1-week hiatus, we are back, refreshed and ready to go, ready to talk some Giants. What's going on?
Let's go. Wow. Let's have some stuff happen soon, man. I mean, I kind of feel like we're on the cusp, right? The winter meetings have started in Nashville. So this is the first year of the winter meetings in gosh, I don't know, more than since MLB Network came on went live, that I haven't had MLB Network. So it's kind of all Twitter X, and Apple News Plus. I've gone to the Giants section. I'm scouring there. I'm waiting for little things, but it's so hard because we have to stay away from the rumors, from the, we don't know if this is a real person or not type of stuff. So
there are some people I am seeing in my Twitter feed that I've never seen before who supposedly have information.
Yes, we will not give their names because we know nothing about the validity of anything they're having to say. So we're going to kind of leave that up to you to decide if you happen to stumble upon it and you think maybe it's something legit. Hey, man, check it out. That's up to you.
Well, I think that the news is still everyone is waiting for the Shohei Ohtani ball to drop, because once that does, and once he announces where he's going to go, everything is just going to start happening. I think everyone's kind of waiting. We had the Aaron Nola re-signing in Philadelphia, which was a pretty big deal. But other than that, there hasn't been a ton going on. Like even guys like that we had wondered about, like Matt Chapman, who's been linked to the Giants. He's not breaking the bank. I mean, he's going to get paid, but he's not getting a $300 million contract. But even him, that seems like to be on hold until after this Ohtani thing happens, which I'm sure those guys are hoping it happens sooner than later so they can figure out their business. But since the last time we talked, so this was 2 weeks ago, do you feel better about Ohtani? Do you feel worse about Ohtani? Or are you about the same?
I'm about the same. I am fully prepared for him to not sign with the San Francisco Giants. I am fully prepared for him to sign with the San Francisco Giants. I'm also fully prepared to understand that we are a bargaining chip, most likely. But we could also not be a bargaining chip. I mean, there are so many things. There are 4 different directions this could go. And I mean, truly 2. He signs with us or he doesn't sign with us. The reasons could go in many different directions. But I'm fully prepared for either way. I don't know if I feel any different than I did 2 weeks ago. I guess I'm a little more optimistic because I think 2 weeks ago I was leaning more towards this ain't happening. We're going to be out of it. It's going to be the Dodgers. I didn't expect it was going to be the Blue Jays, but they're a name that has really kind of come up in a lot of talks lately. But yeah, I was thinking more. It was probably going to be the Dodgers, maybe even the Angels. I mean, maybe he stays in Southern California. Something I read today basically said here's a reason that Ohtani could end up staying with the Angels is because he is very familiar. He's a creature of habit. He enjoys his routine and could stay in Anaheim because he knows exactly what to do while he's there. But again, I mean, they're not a winning ball club, and neither are the Giants at this point. But the Giants, I think, could make the pitch that, hey, we've had the success in the past, and it's within the last 10 years we've had success, so we could get there again, and we want to get there again. We've seen what it's like, and that could kind of sway him towards us, but we'll see.
I'm going to the prestigious website bookies.com.
There you go.
And here are the odds for Shohei Ohtani as of December 4th, today, as we're recording, 8:20 a.m. Pacific. So early this morning, according to bookies.com. And I guess this comes from veteran oddsmaker Adam Thompson. And he has the Dodgers in pole position here at plus 200. He has the Cubs right behind the Dodgers at plus 450 and the Giants at plus 500. So, still in the top 3. Now, the Blue Jays, who made a jump last week in these odds from what I saw, are at plus 650. Then you got the Braves, who are kind of circling. Like, if I'm the team that I'm afraid of, obviously, we just don't want them to sign with the Dodgers no matter what.
No.
The team that I'm
Anybody else?
is Atlanta because they're so good and they have
Yeah.
talent who are still in their prime right now. And you just add him to that squad and you pencil those dudes in for 110 wins. So it's kind of funny though to see the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Mets kind of off of the outside of the top 5 because those are
Yeah.
big money teams who usually are right in the mix on deals like this. And so I guess what I'll say is I've been listening to a podcast with Tim Kawakami and his new feed. It's a podcast that's called North South.
Yeah.
And his podcast partner's name is Dylan Hernandez, used to be in the Bay Area writing for the Mercury News, now writes out of LA. And so the idea of the podcast is to kind of just catch up with each market, with each other, and like what's going on in LA, what's going on in the Bay Area. And he also speaks Japanese. And so he follows Shohei very closely. And the way that he described how the Dodgers are coming into this deal, this possible deal, it seems very corporate in a sense. Like, you are signing to join the Los Angeles Dodgers. Not that the Los Angeles Dodgers are jumping through hoops to try and sign you. That's the feel that I got from Dylan when he was talking to Kawakami about this. And so, maybe the other thing that's kind of interesting, I don't know if you've seen some of these Dodgers contracts, but these contracts, like Freddie Freeman, his money is like delayed. Like, not that it's delayed, but he's going to be making money from the Dodgers through like the 2030s. Like,
Jeez.
that's how his contract works. So I don't know if that hurts or helps them, but I don't know. The Dodgers at plus 200. I fully expect them to get him, but at the same time, like, I'm hearing information that makes me hopeful. Now, I was talking to a friend who's a Blue Jays fan, and I was saying how, if I had my hopes as to where he would go and it was not the Dodgers, I would kind of pick the Blue Jays because then he's out of
Yeah.
the National League, and they already got Belt. I don't know if Belt's going to be on the team next year, but I kind of had a little bit of watched a little bit of Blue Jays this year because of Belt. So I thought that'd be a fun place to go. I don't understand why he would choose the Blue Jays because I mean it's really hard for them to get talent, right? They have to grow the talent from within. I guess they did get Gosman when the Giants didn't sign Gosman.
But if they gave him 600 million, the exchange rate isn't that like 835 million? I think I was reading today. So
Maybe.
So that's it gets you an extra 235 million if you spend that in the States. I guess.
Money hungry Ohtani. That's what the headline would be.
Exactly. I think that would be fun. Yeah. I mean, if it's not us, the Blue Jays would be kind of fun, because I guess us, we're older fans, so we remember the 92, 93 Blue Jays.
Oh yeah, Cito Gaston, baby.
Yeah, Cito Gaston, Roberto Alomar. I mean, those were some fun teams to watch. Joe Carter with the home run off of Wild Thing. So that was what, 92, 93. Yeah, so that was 93. But yeah, so that would be fun to see a team that's kind of, punching it back up again and trying to get back to the World Series. I know they've been fighting for the last few years. They just haven't gotten over the hump. But you look at a team like that, you look at a team like Atlanta, they're kind of there. They need that missing piece. Does Ohtani want to be the missing piece, or does he want to go to somewhere like San Francisco where he can be the piece? Like, you build around Ohtani. I know he's 30 years old, but if you give him a 10-year deal, he's going to be around for a while. You put people in the seats, you build the team around Ohtani. Ohtani is the top. I mean, he's the top of the mountain, but you stick him in somewhere like Atlanta, they love Acuna Jr. They love Matt Olson. They love their guys there. In Toronto, they love Vladdy. They love Bo Bichette. Ohtani's just another piece. Same with the Dodgers. That he's just another piece. Yes, he can get him over the edge, but does Ohtani want to try to build something? It didn't work in Anaheim, but does he want to try to go somewhere else like the Giants that could with a young core coming up? I don't know. I mean, it's all intriguing. We don't know what's in the mind of Shohei. And maybe we'll find out someday through interviews and whatnot whenever he does sign and when spring training rolls around with whichever team. So it'll be interesting.
Okay, so now what we have to do is, let's say that Shohei signs now, either with the Giants or not with the Giants, then all kinds of deals are going to happen.
Oh yeah,
there are still guys out there like Cody Bellinger, who's going to get another one of these, decade-long contract offers from somebody. Matt Chapman, he won't get that long of an offer, but he's going to get a pretty good offer. Nola's already signed. There's Blake Snell, who's going to be out there. Sonny Gray already signed. Jordan Montgomery is going to be out there pitching the World Series. And then we got Yamamoto, and just today, Korean outfielder Jung-Hoo Lee was posted. So do you have an inkling? Like I think there's some folks who kind of think of it like, what if we don't get Shohei? Then who becomes number one? And I think people think it's Yamamoto.
Yeah.
But I'm just like, if you get Shohei, then it's almost just as important to sign that number 2 guy to pair him, because I think the deal, well, I don't know what the deal is, but if I'm Shohei and you do sign with the Giants, it is with the idea that you're not going to be the only guy. They're going to sign 2 or 3 guys to improve this team immediately for you for 2024.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee of that. So how do you pitch that? I mean, I was trying to think about it today. The teams nowadays, it's not like you would just say, "Hey, I'm going to, we're going to go out and we're going to woo Barry Bonds. Hey, Barry, your dad played here. Willie Mays played here. You're a Giant. We're going to give you lots of money." And he's like, "Yeah, I know this place. Cool. I'm in." I mean, there's got to be.
Are you saying we need to hire Shohei's dad?
Yeah, pretty much. We need to hire Shohei's dad, have him play a few years in the majors, be a stellar center fielder. But yeah, there's got to be. I mean, the marketing, the advertising, the everything that goes into. I mean, do you have to hire like Cirque du Soleil to put on a show for Shohei to say like, "Come to San Francisco. This is our pitch"? I mean, it's got to be intense nowadays in those meetings. I can't even imagine. But how do you? I mean, you kind of have to be careful too. You can't say, "Shohei, you sign with us, and we're gonna go hard. We're still going hard after Yamamoto. Then maybe you can help recruit him. Then we're going to go after Bellinger." I mean, you can't really lay your cards out there to this agent either. So that's kind of the difficult part too. And you can't pitch all this to Shohei, and Shohei's like, "Yeah, I'm in," and then you don't get any of those other guys. So it really has to be kind of marketing towards Shohei. Here's what you can do, Shohei. So I don't know if there's much pitch in it to say, these are some other guys we're looking at, or we're going to get this guy, and we really want this type of player, blah, blah, blah. I think it's more like, we want you are going to help us win. And together you're going to create this lore that lives on forever in San Francisco, in the San Francisco Giants franchise. And again, I don't know if you could do that in Atlanta, LA, and Toronto, or even New York, because there are so many names that have been through those towns already, with World Series championships and whatnot, but all in the past. So I think the Giants have to be really careful and say, "Look, Shohei, this is it, man. We want you, and then whatever happens after that, it's going to happen. But we want to build championships, and it starts and ends with you." So I think they're going to have to pitch it that way. But again, I was only an advertising minor at San Jose State. And that was in the 90s. So I don't know how they do this nowadays.
Our guy Davis said, if he goes to Atlanta, it'd be like when the Warriors got KD. That's exactly what I thought. It's like, it just becomes a super team, right? It's
and does he want that
super team?
I don't think he wants that. I mean, if he wanted that, I don't think he would have gone to Anaheim.
Well, I mean, he did have Trout. Maybe he
He did
thought
have
that
Trout, but the Dodgers were also pitching him too. So I
true.
mean, why don't you go there? Why choose across the freeway team, the Anaheim Angels, when they just have Trout? Because you want to build, right? He wants another superstar there. He'll build. So, but if he's the only superstar, I mean, you got Webb. Webb can be a superstar.
the goofiest superstar of all time.
Yeah.
Okay, so but I like this idea of we pitch Mr. Ohtani, Toru Ohtani, who, according to this Sportskeeda webpage that I just pulled up here, was he played as an amateur and he played semi-professional baseball in the Japanese Industrial League.
Nice.
He could be our first base coach. I mean, we have like 17 hitting coaches. Can we add 18?
I don't think it's a problem.
Mr. Ohtani, come help us and just coach your son and tell him, when he hits the home run into the upper deck, or actually not upper deck because we're not at Candlestick anymore.
Yeah,
when he hits it into the water, just tell him, nice swing, son.
Yeah, exactly. Come up with a cool handshake. Everybody loves it.
But his mother, Kayoko Ohtani, was it was really good at badminton and became a national level player in badminton. So that's where the athleticism probably comes, is from mom there. Heck, man, she can hit what is the badminton thing called? The
shuttlecock.
The shuttlecock.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
it's just fun to say.
Maybe the Giants have all of this like funky training and stuff. It's like, oh yeah, Mrs. Ohtani is coming in and she's gonna teach you guys how to hit the shuttlecock, which comes out kind of like a wiffle ball, which is kind of like pickleball and it's kind of like a curveball. So that's where we go.
Isn't there a whole Ohtani kind of documentary that he was in? Is it on Hulu?
Is it? I gotta watch it.
I think it's either on Hulu or ESPN, which pretty. I mean, they're the same thing, anyways. Or Disney Plus. I don't really remember, but I'll have to look that up because there's like a Shohei documentary from last year. I think it was.
Okay.
Because I really want to get into this dude's mind. And
Davis just says it's on ESPN Plus.
ESPN Plus. Okay, cool. So I'll have to check that out because I did come across that the other day and I was like, "Ooh, I got to watch that." So
yeah, maybe that's homework for us for next week.
I like that.
But then if he signs with the Dodgers, I'm never watching that thing.
Oh yeah, I'll purchase a physical copy of it just to burn it.
I'm deleting ESPN Plus if he signs with the Dodgers.
Yeah, for a week, just for a week.
What are your thoughts on Yamamoto, though? I mean, obviously, we don't know a ton about this guy. The only thing that we know is that he's a little small. And whenever anyone says we have a small pitcher, I just think Lincecum. Right?
That's pretty much it. Yeah,
that's what you always think is Lincecum. But I think it's they don't seem to be the kind of team to give these long-term deals to pitchers. If they did, we would still have Kevin Gausman. So it looks like maybe there's a change in the philosophy here. They know that they need to attract people who will bring fans to the ballpark. I don't know if Yamamoto is that person, though. Like, without Shohei, is Yamamoto somebody who is very attractive for this fan base? What do you think?
I think so, because I mean, I'm speaking for the older fans. We love pitching because it brought us championships.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of tied to good pitching. So and we all know that Webb needs a true number two. We love Cobb, but he's coming off surgery. He may miss like the first month of the season. So to get a guy like Yamamoto, let's say you don't get Shohei. Okay, well, Shohei is not going to pitch this year anyways. So you miss out on possibly a 40 to 50 home run guy. But you can look at a Bellinger. So if you can get a Yamamoto and a Bellinger, I think you're okay. But if you're going just Yamamoto, and then I hate to say it like it's a dirty word, but and then you go like a Haniger type, and then another Conforto type, or a backup infielder. It's not going to be a sexy offseason. People are going to be upset.
Yeah.
But you're still gonna really want to go out and watch Yamamoto because he was so dominant. I like I was reading some of the stuff today about Yamamoto. So he has until January 4th to decide where he wants to sign. The Oryx Buffaloes are the ones who posted him in the Japanese leagues. But I was looking at some of the numbers here on the Chronicle website, and it said Oryx will receive a hefty posting fee for him for whichever club signs him. That fee is 20% of the deal's first $25 million, then 17.5% of the next $25 million, and then 15% of the remainder of the contract. I didn't crunch the numbers because I was starting to think 200 million. And then I started thinking about percentages of that. And I was like, wow, that's going to be quite a bit. You're looking at probably like in the 70 to $80 million range, maybe. I suck at math, so don't take those numbers for anything that they're worth. That I just worked out in my head.
Yeah, it's probably if he signs a $200 million contract, it's like at least 35 million, something like that. Probably.
Is it that? And I said what, 70? God, take away my degree.
You said advertising minor. You didn't say
a radio, television, and film major. Just keep that in mind.
Okay, so I am of the opinion that if you don't sign Ohtani, I almost think like it's almost to save face, right? To save face, you just got to bring in, either Yamamoto, you got to bring in Lee, maybe even Blake Snell if you miss on Yamamoto. Mm-hmm. Not that Blake Snell necessarily fits perfectly with the Giants because, as we know, he's about 6 innings and putting runners on and such, but you got to come away with somebody, which is starting to scare me now that I think about it, because, let's put Shohei at, I don't know, 15% or something. The Giants can actually bring him home. And then it's like, then you put all your eggs in the Yamamoto basket. Then you put all your eggs in the Jung-Hoo Lee basket. And it's after that, it's like, oh my God, what are we going to do? Like Farhan's just thinking like, this did not go exactly how I pictured it here.
Well, he did say in the interview today, I guess he was on MLB Network. He did mention that everybody has the same plan A. So your plan B kind of has to be a little bit different. It has to be creative. So, I mean, obviously they've got something else in mind. Jonathan India, the Reds just put it out there today that, hey, Jonathan India is probably going to play first base for us next year. Now, they're going to try to move Jonathan India. So the Giants could be looking at a trade there because they could put him at first base. They can move Lamont Wade Jr. out to the outfield. I know the outfield's already crowded, so that, in that move, it's going to have to be a Slater or a Yastrzemski, or those guys are going to have to go somewhere else. Or maybe Lamont Wade Jr. goes the other way in the trade. I hate to even say that, but I don't see that happening because he's still under control and he's really still coming into his own. So, yeah, I mean, the plan B is going to be creative. But he also said, what did he say today? He also said that something about contract. I'm going to have to look it up. It was basically scared money don't make money.
Mm-hmm.
And he said it in his own way. So I'm going to have to look up that quote exactly. But
I would have died if Farhan used that quote. How you just said it right now.
That would have been the best, right?
Yeah.
Let's see. What did he say? I got to find the quote. I'm not going to find it right now. Basically, scared money don't make money. He pretty much said that, we can't have these penny pinching moves and win a championship.
Yeah.
You can't be creative with contracts and creative with money and win championships.
Okay,
so,
could you have said that same?
Yeah,
could you have said that same thing last year, and then we would not be in this position? Jeez.
Well, but at least they tried, and so here's the deal: if the Giants end up with, let's go full bore here. If the Giants end up with Shohei and Yamamoto, then you have to just look at last year and say, man, they tried to go all in on Judge. They tried to go all in on Correa, and things happen for a reason. Would you rather have Judge and Correa, or would you rather have Shohei and Yamamoto? I mean, I know which way. I would absolutely go Shohei and Yamamoto.
Yeah.
I think those two guys are going to carry the Giants for years to come. Judge and Correa, they're all for stepping on Legos and hurting themselves. So that's, they're just injuries waiting to happen. But I don't know, man. It's kind of scary. This week is a little bit scary because I pick up the phone, I get an X, a Twitter notification, and I go, is this it? Is this it? I wake up in the morning and I unlock the phone. I go, is it here? Is there news here? And because the worst thing, your stomach's going to drop.
Yeah.
If that says Shohei signs with the Los Angeles Dodgers, the stomach is just.
Well, I mean, think about how sad, like, people could go back a year ago to see our reactions to Judge and Correa and all that stuff while we were doing shows. By the way, Bags just wrote something that I haven't been able to read yet because he just wrote it like 15 minutes ago. But the headline reads, "Could the Giants pitch to Ohtani include a Barry Bonds highlight reel?" This is what you and I said like 3 weeks ago. Like,
yes,
that's what we need. We need Barry out and about saying, like, I built this place and you need to, like, this place needs to become your place now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's not going to break a home run record. He's a little bit too old since he's come into the league to be able to amass those kind of
maybe
numbers.
He could get to 70 something, maybe.
Well, he could. And I mean, he's not going to, I mean, could he pass Mays? I mean, he'd have to hit 50 home runs for like 5 or 6 straight years, probably. But the fact that he could play in that ballpark where Barry Bonds played and hit home runs in the water just like Barry Bonds did. We don't know how Shohei feels about Barry. That's the thing. Maybe in that article it talks about it a little bit, but we're kind of at a loss for his feelings on Barry Bonds and that whole era of baseball. What age was he? At the time all of that was happening, he was probably a 4-year-old, 5-year-old. So.
Wait, how old is he? Like 20?
He's 30.
Okay.
29.
29. So he was born he's 29. He was born the same year that I graduated high school, which is not nice. And so let's look at his numbers here. Overall, he's got 171 home runs in his career. So, he's got at least 5 years of pure power. So it's another 200. Could he get to, I think 500 is
500
in the ballpark,
Sure.
For him. 500 would be quite nice to get to. But yeah, like, I don't know, man. The Bonds marketing. I know the Giants kind of stayed away from Bonds there a little bit, but let's use them now. We got the home run. Let's put a statue of Bonds and tell Ohtani that he's got, his statue will go right next to Barry's. Hopefully,
I like that.
Some stuff like that. Yeah,
you got Willie, you got Barry, and you got Shohei.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Hall of Fame names that came out, which we didn't get to obviously last week because we didn't have a show. Right. But the names for the 2024 ballot. Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, and Chase Utley, who we saw their entire careers. Just off the top of your head, what are your thoughts on those 3 dudes?
So, say the names again.
Adrian Beltre, Joe Mauer, and Chase Utley.
Man, Beltre had a fantastic career. Did he get pinched for anything?
That's a good question. That's always what I look for.
Like, I kind of feel like
stint to him.
Yeah, I kind of feel like he might have, because didn't he go to Seattle for a little bit and just kind of peter out?
That might have been Cano. You might be thinking of Cano.
No, he did. So what happened? So he was with the Dodgers, And all of a sudden, in 2004, he hit 48 home runs when he had never hit more than 23. Then he goes and signs with Seattle, or got traded to Seattle, hits 19, 25, 26, 25, and 8. Then he goes to Boston, hits 28. Then he goes to Texas and really just goes back to hitting home runs.
Yeah.
32, 36, 30, 19, 18, 32, 17, 15, finishes with 477. So the question was in there, I thought, from 2004 to 2005 through 2009, where he just disappeared off the home run chart. Everybody thought he was in LA doing stuff. And then as soon as he got to Seattle, he wasn't doing the stuff anymore. And all of a sudden, he just kind of dropped off.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a tough one because he had a long career, 39 years old, 19 to 39 years old. Beltre, I just don't like Utley. That's my my own personal.
That was my thought too. I think
Yeah.
Beltre is going to go in 100%. Oh, I'm not at 100%, but I think
Yeah,
he's going
yeah.
in. I think he's going to get to 75%. He was also a 5-time Gold Glover, so that
Right.
helps.
That helps. And he was a good guy. Everybody really, really liked him, and that helps too.
As far as Chutley, I think he's got a good shot, but there's a lot of guys who have similar statistics as him who kind of just taper out. Like I don't know what
is a hard position to get into.
I don't know what the numbers are with him and Jeff Kent, but that would be an interesting comparison to see how closely they align on that stuff. And Joe Mauer, gosh, his first he was a hitting machine. I'm pulling up Joe Mauer's Baseball Reference. When he was 20, when he was a younger player, so third year in the league, he hit 347 with 13 bombs, and then he won the MVP in 2009, 365 with 28 bombs, and the power just kind of went away as he got older, but he still ended up his career with a 306 batting average. He just didn't hit for power like he did in his one MVP season, but he's got one MVP and then he's got 3 other top 10s for MVP, and he's got 6 All-Star games. So it's just once he was done as a catcher, he became old really fast and just kind of became, a normal everyday player, not the guy that he was in like the first 7 or 8 years of his career. So he's probably not getting in. I mean, that's one of those things where maybe if he would have played a little bit longer, the counting stats would be there. But yeah, I think Beltre's got to get in. And Utley, I don't know if I can be unbiased about Utley.
Well, I'm looking at his numbers right now. Not only do I not like the guy, but after he turned 35, he played 4 more years. He didn't really do much. So I'd say he had a stretch of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 years where he had great seasons. Other than that, the rest of his seasons were OPS pluses of like 110, 113, 108. And then from the time he turned 35 until the time he finished playing at 39, he didn't have an OPS plus over 93. Early on, though, from 2005 when he was 26 until 2013 when he was 34, like I said, right in there, like that 9-10 year stretch, maybe. He was great. But again, he finished his career 259 home runs, 275 average, 117 OPS plus, no Gold Gloves.
I love when he went to the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Here are his batting averages in his 4 Dodger seasons: 202, 252, 236, and 213.
Yeah.
And he hit a whole combined 26 home runs in 4 seasons with the Dodgers.
He didn't finish his career like Big Papi finished his. We'll just say that.
No. I mean, so from 05 to 09, he was at 22 jacks or more. 33 jacks from a second baseman. That's pretty good for that 2000
OPS
season.
Yeah, an OPS plus during those years of over 125, between 125 and 146. I mean, those are great seasons, but then it just kind of dropped off after that. So I don't think longevity wise, I don't think he had the career numbers to go all
The
the way.
other thing is he led the league in being hit by pitch from '07 to
Yeah.
'09, which tells me this dude's just hanging over the plate. I
Uh,
hated players like that. I just
yes.
hated them.
Yeah. He was looking to get, you can get me here, get me in the shoulder. I'll get on base for you. Any way I can get on base, I'll do it for you.
Yeah, if the Giants don't get Shohei, we may just get bitter on this show. We may just be like a podcast about keeping Chase Utley out of the Hall of Fame.
Hey, let's do it. Let's have a side podcast just called "We Hate Chutley," and we'll just campaign all year long to get him out of the not get into the Hall of Fame.
So I had one of my technically my boss at some point. She lived in San Francisco, and she was telling me that someone was looking at her house, and I was like, Your house is not even on, like, you don't want to move. Like, why is someone looking at your house?" She's like, and she goes, for the right price, my house is always for sale.
Sure.
And the person who was actually looking at her house at that point, at least this is what she told me, was Chase Utley.
No way.
She's like, yeah, Chase Utley wanted to see my house. And I was like, huh.
In the Bay Area?
Yeah, in the Bay Area, in San Francisco.
Interesting.
All right. Before we'll go a little bit shorter today, because again, there's not a ton of news, but I noticed you were sipping on something over there.
I got this for my birthday. My gosh. 4 years ago, maybe. It's been in the but it's a sipper. I love it. It's not an expensive bottle. It's only $60, but it is one of my absolute favorite scotches of all time. The Highland Park 12 Viking Honor.
There you go.
And it is very tasty. So I broke it out of the back of the cupboard tonight. Tasting notes of what? Why is natural color a tasting note? I don't understand. Oh, these crazy Vikings. Tasting notes, natural color, heather honey, sweetness, rich fruit cake, and aromatic smoky peat. It's not as smoky as a Lafroig, not as smoky as Lavagulen, nothing like that. But it's very tasty. And the bottle is super cool. It's got the really cool like Viking design on it and stuff. I can't get this thing to focus. There it is.
There you go.
So pretty good. I have a little bit left. I poured 2 ounces today. So
there you go. All right. So for me, I get a little bit jealous of your ability to keep liquor in your liquor cabinet for many years.
Just buy a lot of it and then you have to rotate.
And so I dug deep into the back of my cabinet, and I was like, oh yeah, I have this bottle of Buchanan's Deluxe 12-year Irish whiskey.
Oh,
and I was like, oh, I need to have this, and so I kind of, I mean, I can drink it straight or I can drink it with the cube, but I was like, oh, let's make it fun for the podcast. Like, well, what should I mix it with? And ginger ale is one of the main things that people say you can mix it with. And so I did what you often do, is as I went and got some Zevia ginger ale.
Very nice.
And so I paired it. I mixed it with the Buchanan's Deluxe, and let's see, there we go. And yeah, so that's what I'm drinking tonight. And I had one. I'll probably have one later tonight after dinner, and it'll go nicely as we're watching the Eddie Murphy Christmas movie on Amazon. Candy Cane Lane.
I tried to get the family on board with that last night, and we watched the trailer, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know." So we ended up not watching anything because it got kind of late by the time we finished dinner. So Denise and I ended up watching. I don't know if you're into these, but I'm into them because having studied film, radio, television, film major,
Yeah.
I'm into the really bad Hallmark Christmas movies. So we watched one with Dean Cain last night.
Wow.
And Sabrina, the
Teenage Witch?
Melissa Joan Hart.
Uh-huh.
And it was called Broadcasting Christmas, where they were both television personalities going for the same job in New York, and they had dated previously.
Oh my
It
God,
was
this is like
so bad and corny. We enjoyed it.
this is like the morning show on Apple
Yes.
TV.
Yeah, but with too much fluff, with all kinds of wonderful fluff.
So
We like watching them because we like to find the plot holes.
Everybody remembers Dean Cain from what was it? Superman and Lois or whatever that show was.
Yeah.
But what people sometimes fail to realize is that where Dean Cain really made his mark was in, I don't remember exactly what season it was. It was like 3 or 4 of Beverly Hills 90210.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
So he shows up because Brenda's mom and dad are like, "Hey, this Dylan guy, he's bad news. We're sending you to Paris. You and Donna are gonna go to Paris. We're reprimanding you because you went to Mexico without telling us, and you forgot your ID, so you got caught at the border, and we had to go pick you up." And so
this sounds like a bad Hallmark movie.
And so here's your punishment. We're sending you to Paris so that you can get away from this Dylan guy. And she's in Paris, and she meets Dean Cain. His name is Rick, but she pretends that she's French and she has an accent. No. So she comes back from Paris and she sees Rick, who is American, and she has to tell him that she's not really French and that she was doing an accent. And yeah, so insanity ensued.
That is good stuff, man. So I don't think I've ever seen one episode of Beverly Hills 90210. I know I'm talking to the wrong person.
Yeah, you're talking wrong, but I get it. I get it. Yeah, it is. It is a mood. It is a specific mood.
My sister used to watch it. She enjoyed it.
I was telling my wife that the reason that I watched it is because I could then talk about something that a lot of the high school girls would talk about. So it was like,
there you go.
That's kind of why I started watching, and then I just got sucked in.
And then you're like, this is good soap opera drama.
But back to Candy Cane Lane before we get out of here.
Yeah.
We watched the first 45 minutes of it.
Okay.
It's not great.
No.
But there's a
50% on Rotten Tomatoes.
There's a thing with Christmas movies where, like, you're not looking for great, you're looking for sort of fun or passable. True. And so far, 45 minutes through, it's passable. Like, to me, like, I will start laughing just if Eddie Murphy, like, smiles. Like, that's how I am with Eddie Murphy. Like, I'd start busting up when he does, like, something, like, really simple that people be like, why are you laughing? It's just, that's the relationship I have with Eddie Murphy. But to see him in the bag for that Amazon cash in a movie like this, I'm a little disappointed. But at the same time, I'm like, look, if I have to watch a Christmas movie with my wife who watches a Christmas movie like every night from now until Christmas, and I could see Eddie Murphy, like, I'm thankful that he did one so that I can watch one with him in it. She watched one with Brandy and Heather Graham from Boogie Nights. They did a Christmas movie together.
I saw that. I saw the trailer for that.
Yeah.
I do like Christmas movies too. I could recommend a couple, but she's probably already seen them. Like 8-Bit Christmas. That's a good one.
We had 8-Bit Christmas, like a video game movie? Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, no, she watched that one last year, I think.
Oh, you gotta watch that one. That one's great. Noelle on Disney Plus.
Is that the one with,
Bill Hader and Anna Kendrick.
Anna Kendrick is in that one,
Yes,
yes,
that's a
yes,
good one. We enjoy that
yes.
one yearly. Spirited, the musical with Ryan Reynolds and Will
Yes,
Ferrell
she watched
that
that one
came out
last year,
last.
yes.
That one was very good. So, and I pushed for Candy Cane Lane, man. I couldn't get anybody on board, so I might have to watch it on my own.
All right. Well, I'll let you know. I think we're gonna try. We may not finish it tonight, but we're gonna get through a nice chunk of it again
Nice.
tonight.
We'll have to do our top 5 again. I think we did that a few years back, and maybe things have changed, so we'll have to do our top 5 Christmas movies.
Tracy Ellis Ross plays the mom in
Okay.
this movie, and all of the kids and also Eddie and Tracy Ellis Ross, they have Christmassy first names.
Oh, okay.
So
I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna keep pushing. I'm gonna see what I can do. We always watch the Holiday Baking Championship, so that's Monday. The new episode every Monday night, so we're watching the new one.
okay, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna be done here. If anything happens, Brad and I have talked about trying to find a pocket of time to do like an emergency show. So
Yep.
we'll,
I'll do it from my phone in the office.
exactly.
If I have to.
There we
Yeah,
go.
We'll get on.
We'll figure out how to do that because look, and I'm not. This is not a hyperbolic statement. If the Giants signed Shohei Ohtani, it is the biggest thing since when they signed Barry Bonds. Like that is it is
100%.
literally that. So that it's going to be giant news if it happens, and if it doesn't,
Yes.
then we're going to turn into the keep Chase Utley out of the Hall of Fame podcast.
Yeah. Well, it depends on where he goes, though. If he goes to Toronto, it's going to be all right. If he goes to LA, we're going to go on a rampage.
Yeah.
Keep everybody out of the Hall of
if
Fame.
he goes to the Blue Jays, Brandon Belt is going to like latch on to him in some way.
I think so. Well,
Yeah.
Belt's a free agent. So, because he was only a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah,
So I think
you're
he's a
right.
free agent. So he's going to have to. It's going to have to be a Shohei Belt package, I think, if they're going to get Shohei.
Yeah, maybe Shohei's like, hey, that wacky guy in Toronto, you got to bring him back,
You
and
got to keep the
I'll-
captain, man.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm not the captain. That's the captain. You got to keep him.
All right. We're done here. We'll be back next week or sooner, depending on what happens in the baseball free agency. But for Brad, I am Double G. We will see you when we see you. Peace out.
Peace.